So here is Kaz, and this is our first event of the season. This is the intermediate at Rocking Horse. And always kind of at the beginning of the season, getting back into the swing of things and knocking the rust off. So working on trying to keep him relaxed is always the biggest thing in the dressage ring. So I can feel a little bit of tension building, so I always tend to do a circle right before I come in, just to see if I can get him to take a breath before I come down the center line. And depending upon the horse, kind of depends on the lead that you want to come in. I try to pick the stronger lead, which for him that's the left. You see it's a little wiggly on it, but I was able to trot, so that's improvement from last year. And then going into our shoulder 4, again, the tension is there, and so he wants to be a little tight. But in the past, he has, when he gets too tight, he'll pop into the canter. And then working on our half pass, which those are getting stronger. But we can still be a little bit more free and kind of through the back. And there he gets a little mad when he does his snorts. I'm just trying to get him to, and anytime we go into the corners, try to get him to take a little bit of a breath. And again, the shoulder in to the right, I have a little bit of head tilt. Really couldn't get too much angle there, so I'll need to work on more angle. And then into the second half pass, he got a little stuck, so I had to kind of correct there. And I'm just trying to work through it. And we're into our medium trot, which I had felt him want to kind of break, but I was able to do a half halt and catch it, and then he actually had a pretty nice one. So again, he's feeling stronger and stronger. And now going into the walk, this is feeling pretty good, and then coming into the extended walk, which he feels good here. But I know, in knowing him kind of, and again, the beginning of the season, when I have to pick him back up into my collected or working walk is where we can sometimes run into some trouble. So I try not to bring the reins up too much because he starts to anticipate. So then I start to get some nice piaffe steps, and I tell him, no, we're just walking. And then sometimes he'll go, okay, well, I'm going to halt, because he says, and then he halts, and I have to go into the canter. So that was pretty unfortunate. I did not score too great through that section, which was too bad because the extended walk was pretty good. But moving forward, we're in the medium canter, and I didn't really go too much for those because, again, I'm just trying to have a quiet test is all I'm going for here. We had a little bit of a swing of the haunches left, but we did pick up the correct lead, so that's good. And then again, we start the medium canter. We do a serpentine now, which he held that, but again, you can see the tension. He wants to get behind the vertical and kind of bulldoze a little bit sometimes and not really sit. So again, always a work in progress. Now I go for my medium canter. So you can see a little bit of change. in that canter. But again, I'm not wanting to kind of blow the lid off. And for that canter walk transition, I needed to do 1 or 2 steps, but I kind of had to take the opportunity with him giving that to me, so I just took it. And now into the second serpentine. And again, always for Kaz is relaxation and rideability. And, overall with this test, yes, there were some hiccups in it, but he is far better than he was last year. And so I'm really was quite pleased with how we are coming out of the gate this season. You can see, again, kind of resisted to the down transition to trot. And then coming into our final halt. And there we go. So we scored 36, I think at 36.6, I believe. So again, lots of improvement, but first time out of the gate. So on to show jumping we go. So now on to show jumping, and again, this is in the intermediate division. And he has been feeling really great. Show jumping is a bit his forte, so always working on the rideability, of course, but jump the first jump great. Coming around to the second jump, and again, I'm working on keeping the softness, keeping the rhythm, and again, making sure that I have the rideability, because he is a big horse, and making sure that he can be adjustable. Now that line I had to kind of keep going down the line to make the 6 stride. And then we have a couple of jumps here that are off of bending line. So this rode in the 5, and then this became a very tight 6, and I had to whoa pretty hard, and he jumped up and wrapped around it. So that was a really good feeling to have him really just spring off the floor. And now coming to the triple. And he jumps that great. And again, rebalancing through the corner, getting a little bit of softness through the rib cage to make sure that we jump that single vertical. And then to the last double, this was becoming kind of the bogey fence, but he jumped that really well. Now on to cross country, and after my show jump round, I was able to move up from second to last to 6th place, which was great. So my goal for my cross country was to have a nice smooth round and working on rideability with Kaz. That's, again, the biggest thing in all 3 phases for him, really. And as he's gotten stronger and stronger, the length of his gallop stride has gotten a lot more covering, so he's less up and down. And he is a pretty strong horse to ride on cross country, so it's really just about balancing out, letting him kind of have his own ride and making sure we're in balance and that I can be accurate in my turns in lines. So this is kind of working on our 2nd minute here. He jumps this table great. And I'm just letting him cruise on this course. I'm not really going after the time. Again, it's the beginning of the year. I would like to be around 15 to 20 seconds. And there you saw me make an adjustment because he kind of was drifting towards the schooling, the cross-country schooling. And I had to be like, hey, buddy, no, we're jumping the jump in between the flags here. So you can see everyone schooling there, where we jumped another big table, and then we head into the backfield. And he is doing really, really well. You'll see us pop up out of the sunken road, jump that really well. And now galloping on to the next table. And what was really nice about this course with Kaz was I didn't feel like I was having to really press. He was just cruising and working on being efficient and not taking up too much time in adjusting, because I'm having him stay in a good balance, which is really nice. So now you can see I brought him back a little early for this water, but I wanted to make sure that I had some nice time here, and then I made a split-second decision making an inside turn. You can typically go around that tree, but I took the inside line for good practice, and he still made it down in the 4, and I just kept my shoulders back, put him on the line, and he jumped it fantastic. So that made me feel really good. And then we were able to keep on coming to this next table, and he jumped that great and ended up finishing up really well. I was just 16 seconds over my time, which again, I was spot on what I was hoping for. And we ended up being third. So interestingly enough, if I would have been 1 second faster, I would have been second. But I was super thrilled with this first event of the season.